All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Who is out there? I'd like to see everybody. Hello, everyone. Hello, Cambly. My name is Tutor Greg. I think you all have hopefully seen me before, and if not, great to meet all of you. It is great to see everybody. I hope you are doing well today on this morning or afternoon or evening on Sunday, whatever time it is where you are. It's good to see you, everyone. Excellent. You can see me and hear me. That is great. Hello. All right. I am doing well. It is a very nice day here where I am. I am actually at changed locations now. I am in Denver, Colorado. So greetings from Denver, Colorado. Where are you from? Please type in the chat and let me know where are you from. And I would like to know today, as a warm-up question, do you prefer to read books or to watch movies? Which do you prefer, to read books or to watch movies? Let's see, who do we have here so far? All right, we have some people from Sri Lanka. Hello, from Brazil. Hello, it's great to see everyone. Hello from Japan, excellent. All right, I'm seeing you like both, all right. So our warm-up question today is, do you prefer to read books or to watch movies? Me personally, I like to watch movies. I think they're very fun, and I like to see all of the characters and things like that. So it's great. All right, let's see. We also have Rennie from Indonesia who prefers to watch movies. That's excellent. All right, we have Stacy from South Korea, likes to prefer reading books. All right, we have some people from Pakistan. All right, excellent. We have some movies in here. All right. We have, all right, more from Japan. It's great. Hello from Italy. All right, I got some more movie watchers in here as well, just like me. That's great. All right. From Ghana, wonderful. Who likes to watch movies? That's great. All right, Nepal, Thailand. All right, I'm getting some both. People like reading books and watching movies. That's great. All right, hello from Saudi Arabia. Hello from Peru. All right, Paris, excellent. Oh, action movies, specifically action movies. That's great. All right. Oh, there's some more from Pakistan. That's great. Well, it's lovely to see everybody. I'm very excited to be here with you today to talk about our lesson. Let's see, some people from the UK. That's great. All right. So we'll wait just a couple more seconds to go ahead and start our lesson here today. Today we are talking about the sound. What is the sound? The sound of CH. So we're going to talk about that sound today and the different ways that we can hear it and the way that we pronounce it for everyone. So, all right, great. We have people from Somalia and Pakistan. That is great. And I want to remind you, if you can't stay for the whole lesson, or if you happen to come in late, it is going to be, this lesson is going to be recorded and it'll be posted on the Cambly YouTube channel. So if you have anything that comes up or you lose your connection or you have to leave early, you can still watch this entire lesson and all of the lessons that we have on Cambly on the Cambly YouTube channel. I just checked the other day, and our live lessons, we've done over 100. So there are 100 different topics for you to look at on the Cambly channel, much like this one. Some that talk about literature, some that talk about pronunciation, different rules of grammar. So it's going to be great. All right, well, it is great to see everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. Like I said before, my name is Teacher or Tutor Greg, and I am excited to be with you today. So, what we are going to talk about today is, what's that sound? And that sound today is CH, okay? So you may have heard this before, and you may have seen it in a bunch of different ways, but CH is pronounced three different ways, three specific different ways, okay? But before we talk about how it's pronounced, let's talk about where we're going to see it in the different words that we are using. So for example, we will see CH at the beginning of a word, right? A word will start with CH, like chop. We will see it in the middle of the word, all right? We'll have CCH in the middle, like kitchen. Or we will see CH at the end of a word, like latch. Okay, So each one of these, especially in English, CH is going to be pronounced, okay? It'll be pronounced in one of three ways, but it will be pronounced every time we see CH together. So we will also have some words, we will have CH in the beginning and the end, like church, okay? And we will pronounce both of those CHs, church, okay? So both pronunciations will happen here. So they can be in the beginning, the middle, or the end, where we will hear that CH. Okay, so what are the three different ways that we will pronounce CH? Okay, so we have the typical one that you will think of, right? What I just said before, in church. It'll be CH, it'll be everything else, right? It'll sound like ch. So this ch, I don't know if you like the phonetic spellings, but it's spelled like this. Ch. So the way that is pronounced is we're going to have our lips pierced, or our lips open like this, with our teeth together and the tongue at the front of our mouth, okay? And we're gonna ch. It's gonna be a quick breath of air, and we're gonna drop it, ch. So think of it as a T, a T, and a ch. So ch, okay? So for example, we have teacher, teacher, and that ch is going to sound with our lips open, our teeth together, and our tongue at the front of our mouth. Ch. So I want you to practice that at home. Ch, teacher, okay? Or choice, choice. It's going to be a ch sound, all right? Or bunch, bunch. So these are all going to be ch sounds, right? And it's going to be most of our words. Most of our words in English are going to have that ch sound, okay? So we will look at that, and that's going to be our first one. It's going to be sound like ch. Most words are going to sound like ch, okay? I'll go ahead and put this up here if you want to take a look at that later. Actually, we'll move this over just a little bit. That way I'm not in the middle of it. Okay, ch. So we also have another way of pronouncing CH, and it sounds like k, like a k, like a K, a hard K, okay? So this is going to come from Greek words, okay? So our K is going to have a lot of Greek origin. I don't know if anyone here on the channel speaks Greek, but you will recognize a lot of these words because these words are all going to derive from Greek, okay? So this is going to be a hard K, K, K. Your teeth are going to be apart. The tongue is going to be in the front of your mouth, and you're going to go K, or sorry, the back of your mouth. Your tongue will be at the back of your mouth, and your teeth will be apart, and your lips spread. K, like choir, school, technical. All of these have a hard K sound. So we don't say choir, right? It's a hard K, choir. Okay? Like this one, it wouldn't be school, it's school with a hard K, school. Okay? And this one is technical, technical. So with these pronunciations, we are pronouncing a hard K. Okay? So, and these words are all going to be Greek in meaning. Now, we have a third way of pronouncing, okay? We have a third way of pronunciation, and that is going to be an SH, a sh, right? Sh. So that is all going to derive from French, okay? Our French words, any words that we use in English that are originally French, and I saw a couple of people on the chat today that are French, are going to pronounce these words with a sh, right? Your teeth are going to be together. It's going to be similar to a ch, but it's going to be just breath pushed through your teeth, and it's not going to be dropped at the end. So your teeth will be together, and your lips will be apart, and it'll be a sh, sh. your tongue will be at the front of your mouth, and you're just blowing air, right? You're going to blow air through your teeth to make a sh sound, okay? So for here, these words we have cachet, right? Cachet, chemise, mustache, right? So these aren't pronounced with a CH or a K, they're an SH. Sh, cachet, chemise, mustache, right? Mustache. So a lot of times, a trick that you will see with a lot of these French words, right, is there will be an E at the end after the CH. And if there's an E at the end after the CH, you can bet that it's going to be a French word that we will pronounce that CH as a sh sound. Cachet, chemise, mustache. Okay, so these are all French words. Okay, so you're probably asking yourself, how can I tell if the word is going to be with a regular CH, with a SH, or with a K? How can I pronounce that? Well, what you will notice is that with French words, a lot of them that we use in English, right? A lot of the words that we borrow in English from French are going to be similar to food or to clothing or fashion. So from here we have a chemise is a type of clothing, right? A mustache is on your face, right? It's a fashion statement, right? Or a cachet, that'll be something that you all hold together, right? These are all French words, right? For Greek words, they'll be more similar to medical or music or philosophy. Things like that will all be more Greek words that we borrow from in English, like choir, right? Choir is a bunch of people singing together. School, right? That's where we're all going to school, right? Right now, we're learning about different words in English, right? That's school. Or technical, right? So the hard part about these types of pronunciations is you're going to have to know where the word comes from. If it comes from Greek, it's going to be pronounced with a K. If it comes from French, it's going to be pronounced with an SH. And everything else, all other words, whether we borrow them from different languages or not, are going to be pronounced with that ch sound, okay? So let's look at some examples. Let's look at some examples of different words that we have. Are there any questions at this point? Any questions about how to pronounce these words? I hope you're practicing at home with me as we are pronouncing them together. Okay, let's see. Any questions? I'm not seeing any questions. So let's go ahead and take a look at some different words that we have here. And yes, I can read your comments, no worries. All right, so let's take a look. So for Greek words, right, let's look at some of our Greek words, some extra ones that we know that are usually pronounced with a K. Okay, so we have orchestra. Orchestra. So that's going to be a hard K, right? This is another Greek word, right? It's medical, or it's musical, right? This is a musical word. An orchestra is what we have when we have a bunch of different instruments playing together. They play together in an orchestra, okay? So that's going to be a hard K here. Another one we have is stomach. Stomach. So we don't pronounce this stomach, right? It's with a hard K. Stomach. That's one that I see very often, right? So, can we put it in a sentence? Yes. So my stomach hurts, okay? My stomach hurts. Or I love listening to the orchestra. I love listening to the orchestra. Or we have another word here, anchor, right? This is not anchor, it's anchor, the hard K, anchor. Okay, so ships, right, they will drop their anchor, right? Or sometimes in English we'll have a thing that say, I have something that's going to anchor me here, right? It's going to hold me in place. To hold something in place is to anchor it, okay? Or we have scheme, right? Scheme. It's like a plan, right? Like a way. I have a way to get rich quickly. I have a scheme, or I know how I am going to get into a good school. I have a scheme. Okay. So this is going to be. It's not a scheme. It's a scheme. It's an SK, scheme. So these are all Greek words that we'll see, okay? So these are all going to be Greek words that are pronounced with a K, okay? With a hard K. So let's take a look now at some French words, okay? Some more French words that we'll use with that hard SH, the sh sound, okay? So we have another one that has to deal with fashion, right? We have chic, all right? This is going to be chic. So chic is going to be something that looks good. It looks trendy, right? It looks very nice. That's chic, okay? So in English, we'll say something like, wow, your new dress is very chic, okay? It's a very chic dress. So it's going to be an adjective that we use that's going to, describe how you look. You look chic. Okay, and we also have champagne. Okay, so champagne. This, right, is a drink or a region of France. They have both. Well, the drink comes from the region of France. So this is going to be champagne. Okay, so it's not ch, no ch. It's a French word, so we say champagne. Okay. Another one that may be surprising to you, that's a very common word here in English, is machine, okay? So you may run into this a lot at work, right? You won't say machine, you will say a machine, okay? Machine, that's a hard SH. And a machine is something that helps work, it's technology, right? It will work something. So like my computer here, my computer is a machine, right? So that we say that with a SH, a soft sh, machine. And then our last word here is niche, all right? So niche, right? That is something that's very specific to you, okay? It's very specific to you. So I have a niche, right? It's something that I specifically like. It's my niche. Okay, so I have a question in here. How do we know if it came from Greek or French origin? So the hard part is there's not a whole lot of technique other than noticing different possibilities, right? In French, right, if we have a CH sound at the end of the word, right, and it has an E afterwards, that's typically French. So we'll pronounce that with an SH. For other words, such as Greek words, a lot of times there's going to be categories, right? There's going to be medical and musical, right? And a lot more academic words are going to come from Greek, okay? French words that we borrow in English are often going to be related to food and clothing and drinks, okay? Those are the different words that we borrow. There are different types there's different exceptions to this, of course, but those are typically what you'll run into. And all other words are going to be pronounced with a TCH sound, that ch. Okay? So I do have a question in here that says, can we repeat niche, right? So this is niche. So it's not your niche, it's your niche. Niche. Okay. Excellent question. So let's look again then at something else, okay? So these are our three different ways to pronounce it, right? Everything else is going to be TCH, so a ch, remember? Teeth together, tongue at the front of your mouth, and you're going to drop that sound, the ch, okay? Right? Like chop, champion, church, right? Those are all going to be a typical way to pronounce it with a ch sound, okay? French, we have the sh, and Greek, we have k, okay? So those are 3 different ways to pronounce our ch sound. However, I do have another one that we have to look at, and that is tu, okay? So in English, when we have the sentence tu together, it will say a ch sound, right? A tu will make a ch sound, okay? So I will put a bit of an asterisk here because I am American, so I'm going to give you the American pronunciations of tu, okay? So in British English, and I've seen a couple of you in the chat talk about British English, that is going to have more instances where tu sounds like ch. So I will give you some examples here in a second, but just know that I'm American, so we're going to talk about American pronunciation of ch, because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. But we have tons and tons of tutors on Cambly that are British that can help you with the British pronunciation. And I also see a request in here for me to say chocolate, all right? So chocolate has that ch at the beginning, and it's pronounced with a hard ch. Chocolate. Now, other languages will pronounce that with a sh, but here in American English, we pronounce it chocolate. So let's look at when, right, when tu will be pronounced with a ch, okay? And remember, this is an American English, okay? When tu will be pronounced with a ch, okay? We have furniture. Furniture. So that tu here, that makes a ch sound. Furniture. Okay? And we also have spatula. Spatula. So furniture, right? Furniture are the things around your house that you sit on or that you put things in, right? Like a couch is furniture. A couch is furniture. Or a dresser is furniture, right? So that tu is pronounced with a ch, okay? A spatula, right? That's what you use to cook with, and it's flat and you turn things over with it. That's a spatula, okay? I'm also seeing future in there, right? So the word, like things in the we have past, present, and future. Just like furniture or just like spatula, that tu sounds like a ch. Furniture, right? Another word here, we have century, right? Century, that means 100, right? 100, century, right? Nature, right? Like plants and animals, that's nature. Right? So these TUs here, right? The TU is going to have a hard CH sound, right? So anytime you see TU in an English word, it's going to be pronounced with a CH, with some exceptions. But we'll talk about some of these exceptions here, right? So just know for right now, right? Furniture, spatula, those TUs sound like a CH. I'm seeing another one in the chat here, right? Feature, right? Feature, that TU is a CH sound, feature, okay? So we have some examples though in American English that does not sound like a CH. So the general rule is, right? The general rule, if it has a TU, it's going to sound like a CH. Okay, that's the general rule. But here are some exceptions. So the exceptions when it does not sound like a CH is at the beginning, right? At the beginning of a word. So in American English, if we have tube, okay, we would say with a hard T, tube, or Tuesday, or turn, okay? These are hard T's, And in American English, it's going to be with a hard T. Tube, turn, Tuesday. Now here is one example where this is an exception between British English and American English. Because in British English, they're going to say tube or turn or Tuesday. Okay? So these are examples, right? So this is going to be a difference between British English and American English. Okay? So that is going to be a difference, right? In American English, a hard T, tube, turn, right? In British English, tube, Tuesday, okay? Turn. So just note, depending on who you're listening to and their type of accent, they may pronounce that TU a little bit different at the beginning of a sentence, okay? Or at the beginning of a word. Sorry, the beginning of a word. If it's a TU in English, it's going to be a C, or it's going to be a hard T. In British English, in American English, hard T. In British English, it'll be a CH, okay? So, another one we have with T, right? When it is with an S at the beginning. When it's S at the beginning, right? That is also going to sound like a T, okay? Study, student, stud, right? Those are all going to sound like a hard T, right? So that second rule, when the T is at the beginning with an S, okay? Student, study, stud, right? Stamp. All of those are going to sound like a hard T. We'll have that S at the beginning, the S, and then a hard T, stamp, study, student, okay? Excellent. I see another one in the chat, temperature. Yep, another CH sound, temperature. I also see another one, YouTube. So because those are two different pronunciations, YouTube. Also, that is a great example of our third example, okay? Our third exception here. Oop, this one, our third exception. So at the beginning of a stressed syllable, okay? So if we have the TU sound at the beginning of a stressed syllable, we are going to pronounce it with a T. So remember, syllables, right, are the breaks in our vowels, right? So if I have the word student, right, student, I have two syllables, right? Those are syllables, right? If I have temperature, temperature, I have 4 syllables, right? So remember, syllables are the breaks in our vowel sounds, right? That's a syllable. Okay. So our third rule here, and probably our most difficult rule, is if it's a stressed syllable. So in English, when we're pronouncing something and it's that part is stressed, then we will say it with a regular T. Okay? So I'm going to put this up here. These are our 3 different rules when TU does not sound like CH. Okay? I'm going to put these up here. Okay? And then we're going to look at an example of this. Okay? So, return. Okay? So our stressed syllable here is the turn. That turn is stressed. Return. Okay? Disturbing. Disturbing. Right? It's a hard T. Right? Institution. That ooh is stressed. Institution. Opportunity. So these are all examples, right? I was on a trip, but now I will return. That is a hard T because that vowel sound, right? That syllable, turn, return is stress. Okay? Disturbing, right? Disturbing is stress. Okay? Because that first vowel sound, dis, is not stress, but the tur is stressed. Okay? Institution. That oo sound is stressed. So we're saying it with a T. Okay? Same with opportunity. Okay, right? I have a great opportunity to learn English today, right? That is opportunity. Okay? So with these, there's two helpful kind of rules here, right? So if we have something that starts with return, retie, right? Those are going to be with a tu after a re or a dis, right? Those beginning parts of words, it's going to be stressed, right? It's going to be a stressed syllable, and we will pronounce it with a hard T. Okay? Return, disturbing, institution, right? Those are all going to be hard T sounds. There is one exception, though. There is one exception that we have here, which is mature. Okay? That ch, that this is the stressed syllable here. That tu is the stressed syllable, but we say that with a ch. So this is the only exception for stressed syllables, is mature, right? Mature being grown up, being someone who is able to handle responsibilities, that is mature, right? I think that you're very mature for your age, is what some people will say. Okay, so this is our TU exceptions, okay? So remember, the general rule, right? The general rule is we'll pronounce it with a CH, okay? Generally, we're gonna say ch, okay? It'll be a CH sound. But there will be some exceptions here, right? When T is at the beginning of the sentence in American English, right? And I must stress, it's American English because British English will say a CH, okay? At the beginning, when it starts with an S and has a TU, right? We saw stud, we saw someone wrote stupid. Yes, that's a T sound, right? We don't say CH. And then at the beginning of a stressed syllable, okay? And remember, this is in American English because in British English, they might say disturbing, right? With a CH sound. So I encourage you to reach out to some of our British Cambly tutors to help you talk about that pronunciation if you would like to know the British pronunciation. But these are our American English ones, okay? Our American English examples. Okay, so any questions with these CH pronunciations right now? Do we have any questions with our CH pronunciations? Remember, we have 3 different types of CH plus our TU, all right? And don't forget about TU because it's a sneaky, it doesn't seem to fit with the rest of them, but it still has a CH sound. Okay, any questions here? Do we have any questions? It looks like no, so let's do a little bit of a quiz, okay? Let's do a quiz on how is this going to be pronounced. Okay, so our first one, right? Let's look at this. How is this pronounced? How is this word pronounced? How is this? Is this with a CH sound or a T sound? A CH or a T sound? Okay, is this gonna have a hard T or a CH? All right, so I'm seeing a lot of answers in there with a CH. That's exactly right. This is adventure. Adventure. Because our stressed syllable here is the right? Adventure. Okay? Excellent. I'm seeing a lot of CHs in there, right? Very good. It is stressed. Adventure. Very good. Adventure. Adventure. Very good. Okay, so that's how we pronounce that word, adventure. Now, let's look at this word. How do we pronounce this? How do we pronounce this? Is this going to be with a CH Is it going to be with an SH or is it going to be with a K? Good. I'm seeing the answer in here a lot. Excellent. This is going to be a K sound. This is going to be a K sound. This is a Greek word, right? This is a Greek word meaning things that are all crazy, things that like it's not like nothing is in order, right? It's the opposite of order. It's chaos. Okay? This is chaos, right? So if you walk into your room and there's clothes everywhere and you have dirty dishes and there's things all over the floor, that could be called chaos. Okay? Chaos. Very good. Very good job. All right. Excellent. So let's take a look at another one. How about this word? How is this pronounced? Let's see. We have Greek, French, or everything else. Let's see. So looking at this word, if we know what it means, right, we know that this is someone who cooks, right? This is someone who cooks. So as we know from a little bit of our helpful hints here, right, it could be about food. So I'm seeing in there that it's a French word. That's exactly right. So this is pronounced chef, right? So this is going to be an SH sound, right? This is a French word, right, meaning cook. And that will be pronounced with an SH. It's going to be a chef, okay? Chef. Very good. Excellent. This is a French word, a cook, right? So we don't say chef, it's chef. Very good. Excellent. All right. So let's take a look at another one. How is this pronounced? Is this going to be a K, an SH, or a TCH? So this word, if you know what this word means, this means a lot of people that sing together, right? It's a lot of people who sing together. So if we're looking at, okay, everything else is going to be TCH, right? But is there a clue we could use here, right? Well, we know that Greek uses musical terms a lot, right? English borrows a lot of Greek musical terms. So we're going to pronounce this, very good, with a K. Excellent. It's going to be choir, right? Choir. So we talked before about chorus, right? That's a Greek word, chorus. This is just similar, choir, okay? Orchestra. Very good. Those are all musical terms that we're going to use that we pronounce with a K. Excellent job. Very good. You all got that one. Okay. Let's look at a couple more. Let's look at some more TU ones, right? Okay. So how about this one? We have a TU in here, right? And this word means forever, right? This word means forever without ending, without an ending. But looking at this word, okay, are we going to pronounce this with a hard T or are we going to pronounce this with a CH? Okay, so let's look at our words here, right? Is it at the beginning of the word? Well, it's not the beginning of the word, right? Because we have an E there first. Okay, so we know this rule isn't right. Is there an S with it? No, there's no S, right? But let's look at our third one, right? Our third example. Is it the beginning of a stressed syllable? It is. It is here. I'm seeing a lot of T's on there. That's right. Because this is the beginning of a stressed syllable. We have eternity, right? Eternity. We're stressing that eternity. So we have that beginning, right? The beginning that E, so it's not stressed, but our that's a stressed syllable, eternity. So we're going to pronounce that with a hard T. Very good. I'm seeing that on there, right? Eternity. Very good. Remember, where is the word being stressed? What is being stressed here? All right? Eternity. Very good. Okay. Let's look at another one. Let's look at another one. How is this pronounced? Oh, and I'm seeing in there a question, what is eternity? Eternity means without ending. It's forever. It does not stop. That's eternity, forever. Okay, good question. All right, so this word, how is it pronounced? Okay, so let's see. We have a T to start the word. Well, let's go ahead and look at what of our exceptions here, right? Aha, we have T at the beginning. So we're going to pronounce it with a hard T. Tunnel. Tunnel, right? This is something like a train goes through a tunnel, right? It's underground. Something that's underground is a tunnel, right? That is tunnel. It's going to be at the beginning of the word, and it's a hard T. And the reason why I am not great to help you with British English is because this wouldn't be channel, this would still be tunnel in British English. So make sure that you talk with someone about that. So it's going to be tunnel. Okay, very good. The T is at the beginning, and we pronounce it tunnel. Okay, let's take a look at one more. You guys are doing a great job with this. You're doing a very good job seeing when these exceptions apply and how we pronounce them. So yes, I see in the question, at the beginning of the word in American English, if it starts with a T, it will always be a hard T. Okay, so if our word starts at the beginning with a T in American English, it's going to be a hard T. Tube, Tuesday, tunnel, turn, right? Tuck. It's always going to be with a hard T. Good job. Okay, our last one. How is this pronounced? How is this pronounced? Well, let's look at our rules again, right? Is the T at the beginning? No. Is there an S with the T? Nope. Is it the beginning of a stressed syllable? Is it at the beginning of a stressed syllable? It is not. It is not at the beginning of a stressed syllable. And I'm seeing a lot of CHs in there, right? The TCH sound, that ch. It's exactly right. So this is going to be a CH sound. Picture. That P, that's the stressed syllable, right? Picture. Picture. That is going to be a CH sound, that ch. Very good. Picture. So remember, when we're looking at what word is what syllables are stressed, right? We're going to have to look at the word and know in our pronunciation that that's going to be the stressed syllable there, right? Picture. Picture. Very good. And we'll probably have another class at some point talking about stressed and when to know what syllables are stressed, right? So, but just know if it is the stressed syllable, hard T. If it's not the stressed syllable, ch. Picture. Very good. Okay, excellent. Let's do a quick review and then we'll be done for the day. Thank you so much for joining me. So we have our CH sounds, right? Beginning, middle, and the end. We'll have a CH anywhere in the word, all right? We have our 3 different ways to know about or to pronounce it. A hard K, if it's a Greek word, right? A hard K, an SH, if it's a French word, and everything else is going to sound like ch, okay? Everything else is going to sound like ch, all right? And remember, TU, our TU also sounds like ch, okay? And then we have a couple of exceptions in American English, right? If it's at the beginning, if it starts with an S and a T, or if it's the beginning of a stressed syllable. Otherwise, go forth, continue practicing your English, work on your ch sounds. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you had a great lesson. I hope this was helpful for you or a good review if you had already knew this before. I hope you got to practice. I hope you were practicing along with me and pronouncing the words as I was as well. It's so great to see all of you. Remember, if you missed any of this lesson and you'd like to see it again, or if you would like to just watch it again on your own, this lesson will be on our Cambly YouTube channel. So thank you so much for joining me. We also have a code for you today. If you're new to Cambly and you want to talk with a tutor like me, or you'd like to talk with any of our other thousands of wonderful tutors, you can use the code GOLIVE. We are ready at 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's always someone willing to talk with you, whether you are just starting out learning English or whether you've been practicing for years and you're practicing for something like the IELTS. We are happy to help you. This will be a promotion code for about the 36% off for a year-long subscription. Please join. It was so great to see all of you today. Have a wonderful day, and or morning or afternoon or evening, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.